Hey, awesome people of YouTube, welcome back to another The First Descendant video, or TFD video. In this one, I'm going to be talking about five more tips. These are going to be a bit more advanced tips before in a later game or getting close to getting to the hard mode. Now, before we get started, I just want to say thank you everybody who's been liking, commenting, subscribing to the channel. It helps a lot, and if you continue that support, that will be truly amazing. We'll also have our own Discord, and we stream every day from 4 p.m. sometimes a little bit early. All those links are down in the description. We stream on Twitch, by the way. But with that said, let's get into the video, and there's gonna be, like I said, 5 more tips. Right? The first one is pretty easy. It is how to make a private lobby, because sometimes you might be grinding, different things, like, for example, wrong area, the outpost, like you can see here. Right? But every time you go there, it's already done. So it's pretty simple how you can make your own private lobby. You cannot make it in a main public space, but you can do it everywhere else. All you need to do is click on this button and set it to private. Now when we go there, it might still be reset, right, on a cooldown, but it's less likely. And we'll be there. So you can just grind your heart out by yourself. Maybe you're trying to reset the missions or do whatever you need to do, right? Oh, as you can see, nobody, just me, right? And that's pretty easy. That's tip number 1. Now, with that tip, we do tip number 2, and it is get yourself Sharen or Sharen, however you want to pronounce it. This beautiful lady. And the reason why you want her is one specific thing. Oh, you can still play her and main her, but you want her for her. Where's she at? There we go. Her second skill, active camouflage. If you reduce its cooldown and increase its duration, you can have pretty long camouflage or invisibility. And then why do you need it? Well, if you go grinding for different descendants or different weapons or pieces, you're gonna need her, because if we scroll down, you can see amorphous material pattern 082 of 25% chance on just successfully beating this. But if you successfully do an infiltration, you have between 5 to 25. If you successfully do, I think it's 25, you have chance of getting pattern 083, and it's 83, 81, and so on. For example, like here, 81, and that is the only way to successfully do it. And you definitely want to do it in a private lobby or in a group, because otherwise there will be people who mess it up. And some of the stuff, for example, like 83, can give you, where's it at? You see, Blaze Stabilizer, Albion Cavalry Blueprint, or Enduring Legacy, Yesa, Energy Activator Blueprint. When I was grinding my Python, wrong one. Apologies, I needed a very specific one. So there we go, this one, 063, because it is one of the few that has 32% chance for the Python blueprint, and I needed a Sharen. I don't have her. I got lucky in the LFG through Discord or with my buddies who have her, and I was able to do a bunch of it and get 5 blueprints after a while, and was able to get my Python maxed out. But that's why you definitely want Sharen or Sharen for that. Now, with that said, the tip number 3 that we're going to go to is pay attention to your weapon stats. And the reason why is each weapon is unique in its own way. Now we're going to look at Python. As you can see, Python weapon critical hit rate is 5% and critical hit damage is 1.3. So it's absolutely trash in terms of critical hit. So you do not want to put critical hit modules, be it rate or damage, because it's not going to do much. It's going to inflate your sheet DPS right here, but it's not going to do as much. Right? For Python, you go for weak hit point or weak point damage, with toxic. But for something like, for example, Afterglow Sword, it might be better because you have critical hit rate of 50%. And if you get an additional 50%, you have 75% flat before any of the resistances. And you can put critical hit damage. So on this weapon, it's a lot more worth it. You know? So you definitely want to pay attention to those weapon stats. This weapon, for example, critical hit rate is also not great because it's 12%. Versus something like piercing knight, it's 40. Okay, it's a lot better. Now if we look for this weapon, it's 20%. You might be able to get away with it because if you get 50% more critical hit rate, you'll be at 30%. So pay attention to those stats. The fire rate, the firearm, critical hit damage, and weak point, because that will determine if you want to build that weapon as a weak point damage or as a critical hit weapon. So pay attention to that. That is very important. Now, for tip number 4, we're going to go into the boss, because it's tip number 4 and tip number 5. I know everybody loves to go to Devour. We'll go to that because it's easy. And we're going to do it in a private lobby. Because tip number 4 is the frenzy meter of the bosses. And you need to pay attention to that, because that will determine when they go into an invulnerable state. And that is very, very simple how you can determine what's their frenzy meter is. This also will lead us to our number 5 tip. But let's get through the 4th one. You can see we're by ourselves. There'll be no help, just me. Now, when a boss fully spawns in, all you need to do is press the scan button. You know how you look for volts? Well, same way. As you can see, nothing. Now, you can see, ooh, he has a purple bar below him. He's not getting it. The way he gets frenzy is if we just damage him. As you can see, he gets it. Now, for tip number 5, sorry, it's trying to do both things a bit confusing. Or not confusing, a bit hard. But for tip number 5, in order to prevent him getting to frenzy faster, you want to break his weak points. Because when you break his weak points, he will go down, as you can see. That was a bit short. But if you break his shoulders, he will have longer downtime. And that's what you want. I am a horrible shot. But once he's down, he will not get that frenzy meter. And that's what you want to do. Because when they're in frenzy, they will not be able to take damage. Oh, and we... Oh, what a save. But... Oh, we died. But that's okay. Because this resets it. Oh, come here, boss. Now we're gonna... try... There we go. We grappled. And we break his weak point. As you can see, his rage meter is not going up. And we can still do free damage. That's why you want to go for the shoulders first. Because you can see we had quite a bit of downtime. Now we're just going to get him to the frenzy state. And look. If we went for the bow shoulders, we might have had it. But that's how you prevent him into going into the frenzy state. Going immune. And have more time to eliminate the bosses, which will help you, be it if you do it solo or as a group. If you're in a group, definitely go for the shoulders first. Always go for them, because when you saw when I hit his knees, he didn't go down for long. It was half a second and he was back up. Not really worth it. But if you break a shoulder, you see he was down for a couple seconds. Allowed me to do massive damage. But imagine if you break both the shoulders. You know, break one real quick. You do massive damage, for example, to his other weak point, to his chest. Get that wide open, and then you break his other ones. You will have an extra 5 to 10 seconds of free damage without doing any frenzy meter turn. But I hope this video helped you out. If it did, you know what to do. Leave a like, comment, subscribe, and I hope to see you in the live stream. Don't forget, stay awesome. I'll see you next one. Bye bye.